I had not heard about The Brutalist until a friend of mine told me that there was a new film playing at the Toronto International Film Festival that was shot in 70mm. Actually, I'll get back to that. Was playing in 70mm and was 3+ hours long and starred Adrian Brody, Guy Pearce, and Felicity Jones. Now, I'm not a big fan. Well, you know, I like those actors, but that wouldn't get me to see a movie that they were in. But what did get me really interested was the fact that it was shot on a large film format and was so long. There's a kind of audaciousness there that really makes me want to check something like that out. I didn't even look up the plot of the film. I'm like, The Brutalist, all right, architecture. I think I have the general gist of this. It was directed by a filmmaker who had previously made 2 other pictures, like Vox Lux, which I had not seen either, but doesn't matter. Just the sheer audaciousness. Again, I'm in there and I want to see. And the reviews that were coming out, like it won Best Director at Venice, I think. And people were writing like rhapsodical reviews of, oh, this is the film we wanted Megalopolis to be. It's like sitting there in the audience seeing The Godfather. And I gotta say, for a lot of that running time, I would probably echo that opinion. Like, it's the story of after World War II, Adrian Brody, it comes from Hungary and ends up in America where, oh, will he make his dream of, or continue his dream of being an architect? He will indeed. And you just follow him, every shot kind of beautifully composed. I mean, this is not a low budget film, considering it is shot on 70mm and it's not a huge budget film. It's playing in like the same kind of scale that something like The Master does, even maybe a little bit removed. I believe that they shot the movie in Hungary, posing as Romania. And when you know that, you can look into, oh, okay, I saw the approach that they took to this. So it's all about, you know, Adrian Brody. The main plot is he's hired by Guy Pearce, a rich asshole, to build this gigantic community center that's supposed to be representative of, you know, or to honor Guy Pearce's deceased mother. There's a lot more going on there. It's actually much clearer than something like The Master. It doesn't really have that opaqueness until maybe you're getting to the true meaning of the film. It's very, you know, driving forward. Adrian Brody is committed to putting this together exactly the way that he wants it to. Don't want to get too much into how the story goes along because more characters get introduced in the second half. Yes, this is a film that is split in 2, and there's even a 15-minute intermission with a countdown clock to make sure that you arrive back in your seats on time. And again, just a visually dazzling experience. Just perfectly controlled in the way that it wants to tell this story, giving you what it needs to, and then also withholding a little bit when it needs to as well. And, you know, I was clearing off a spot on my top 10 list for this movie, and then we get to the last 15 minutes. And it's not even just like one thing that happened in the last 15 minutes, it's like a bunch of them that are just so direct and in your face, stating thematically what the point of the movie is. And then having an act being treated as kind of like a metaphor for all the stuff that went down that I found kind of, oh boy, I mean, it's definitely direct in the way that it does it. And then just in case the audience didn't get it, there's an epilogue to the film. You have someone stand on stage and clarify once again what the movie's about, and that's something that the film was like hinting at throughout. It just lays it on the table to make sure you don't miss it. It is so many, like, okay, here you go, here you go, here you go, in a row, that it almost feels kind of like satirical in the way that it's presented. And I mean, I'm not familiar enough with the director to know if that's true, but yeah, there's some like troubling stuff to consider near the end of the film, and I'm really curious to see other people talk about it. I have not seen anybody kind of mention this. Some people have said that they're kind of thrown off by a flash forward at the end, but that's not really what was the issue. It was more like the context, the revelations that come out, and the way that it's presented just really threw me off and left kind of like a bad taste in my mouth as I left the cinema. Anyway, I'm really excited for people to check this one out. I think it will you know, lead to a lot of discussion and will probably bring this director to like the next phase. He had been an actor before. Again, he had done Vox Lux, and here's his big masterwork, and I would love to see what else he has up his sleeve. He was not at the screening that I was at, but supposedly he was very candid about the difficulties he had to pull this movie off. I mean, like that cast, Guy Pearce, Adrian Brody, that's like a DTV action movie cast, but he constructed this big, sprawling 70mm epic. Actually, you know what? It's printed on 70mm. It was actually shot on VistaVision, and VistaVision's a little bit different. It's basically you're turning 35mm on its side and capturing that image. So like the canisters are not vertical, they're horizontal when you film, and you get more detail and less grain. And so it's not quite 70mm, but it's close. And no feature films are shot in VistaVision anymore. It's a process that was kind of like invented by, oh boy, I don't remember which company, but it was abandoned after a while, and it picked back up by places like Lucasfilm, who would shoot the effects for Star Wars and stuff like that on VistaVision, because you lose a generation when you capture it and have to put it back on the film print. And because it had more clarity in it, that kind of quality loss wasn't as apparent as it otherwise would be. Anyway, The Brutalist, a complicated film that I can't wait to see other people watch, discuss. Maybe I missed something or many things while watching it, but I have to say, for like 97% of the running time, I was completely engrossed. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. This is something that you need to see, and I really hope it goes around in 70mm, but who knows if that'll be the case. It seems to be getting enough buzz. I feel like there could be a rollout in some of the major cities, so keep an eye out for The Brutalist, and I'm gonna keep thinking about it.